Good afternoon and welcome to the Media News. I am Omotayo Adebodun. President Muhammadu Buhari, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, and the 44 ministers in the Federal Executive Council will soon start declaring their assets ahead of the May 29 when their tenure will end. The Special Advisor to the Code of Conduct Bureau Chairman on General Duties, Dr. Mustapha Musa, confirmed that the necessary arrangement had been made for the issuance of the assets form to the outgoing officials and their successors. Also, the outgoing president aides 28 state governors and their cabinet members, National Assembly and State Assembly members and local government chairmen will equally obtain the asset declaration form from the Code of Conduct Bureau and submit in line with the CCB in line with the 1999 Constitution. According to Musa, the declaration of assets by the outgoing president, vice president and ministers complies with the provision of the Constitution, which stipulates that all public officers shall declare their assets and liability on the assumption of office and at the end of their tenure. However, the President-elect Bola Tinubu, the Vice President-elect Kashim Shettima, and 28 incoming governors and their cabinet members, as well as the state assembly members, have 3 months to submit their asset form to the CBB. On the prosecution of defaulters, Dr. Musa asserted that many ex-governors, former ministers, and other officials were facing trials for under-declaring their assets after leaving office. Figures obtained from the Central Bank of Nigeria indicated that the country's external reserve has declined to $1.46 billion between January and March. The CBN's data on movement of external reserves shows that the reserves, which stood at $36.99 billion at the end of January this year, fell to $35.53 billion as at the end of last month. At the last Monetary Policy Committee in Abuja, the governor CBN attributed the decline in the external reserves to the fall in crude oil price. The Apex Bank boss noted that marginal decline in the level of gross external reserves to $36.13 billion in February from $36.4 billion in January, a decrease of 0.7%, reflecting the downtrend in crude oil price as global uncertainty. Osun State Governor Senator Ademola Adeleke has stopped the forfeiture of the state mining license due to mismanagement by previous administration. Spokesperson to the governor, Malam Olawale Rashid, said the state has about 7 mining licenses across the solid mineral value chain. According to him, the license were almost sold off in the last days of Oyetola's administration due to the deliberate refusal to revalidate the license by paying required fee to the federal mining licensing body. He added that after the submission of the report of the Solid Minerals Committee, Governor Adeleke has however ramped up action to reposition the sector and ensured the revalidation of the state mining license. It could be recalled that a meeting with the Director General of the Nigerian Mining Cadastral Agency, Engineer Obadiah Nkom, Governor Adeleke affirmed the readiness of his administration to ensure all necessary fees are paid for the state mining license to be secured. Responding, the Director General of the Mining Cadastral, Engineer Obadiah Nkom, expressed the readiness of the agencies to partner with Osun State government for the revival of the state mining sector. Engineer Nkom, who described Osun as an important mining state, commended the political will demonstrated by Governor Adeleke, stressing that the meeting was unprecedented in the federal-state mining relations. The World Health Organization stated that 1 in about 100 children has autism spectrum disorder, which constitutes a diverse group of conditions related to the development of the brain. The WHO said the estimates represent an average figure and reported prevalence varies substantially across studies. The autism spectrum disorder are characterized by some degree of difficulty with social interaction and communications. Other characteristics are atypical pattern of activity and behavior, such as difficulty with the transition from one activity to another, a focus on detail and unusual reactions to sensation. The ability and needs of autistic is noted that people with autism have the right to the enjoyment of the highest attainable standard of physical and mental health, who lamented that the victims are often subject to stigma and discrimination, including unjust deprivation of health care, education, and opportunities to engage and participate in their communities. People vary and can evolve over time. And now to sports. The president and president-elect of Nigeria have led the plaudits from fans in Nigeria for Anthony Joshua after the British-Nigerian claimed victory over him at the O2 Arena in London. It is Joshua's first win in more than 2 years, having lost consecutive bouts to Alexander Usyk. President Muhammadu Buhari, President-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu, musician Peter Okoye of P-Square are among Nigerians to have congratulated the 33-year-old after his victory over the American. President Buhari wrote on his official Twitter handle that he celebrates Anthony Joshua's victory over a formidable discipline, persistence, and humility. Those who dared do win. President-elect Tinubu also hailed the heavyweight boxer on the social media platform, writing for his determination and perseverance. And on the foreign scene, Kenya opposition leader Raila Odinga has called off anti-government protests scheduled for today, saying he is ready for negotiation following an appeal from President William Ruto. Thousands have joined 3 marches over the past 2 weeks against high living cost and alleged fraud in last year's vote. Odinga has announced that he was calling off the 4th rally in response to Ruto suggesting that they create a bipartisan parliamentary committee to work through concerns over the electoral process. The opposition leader, who has disputed Ruto's victory in 2022, said he saw the president's statement as an olive branch and a positive development. The opposition also claimed that his party reserved the right to call for demonstration should this process not bear fruit, pushing for reforms to the Electoral Commission. Ruto's government has scrapped subsidy on fuel, maize, and electricity. And still on the foreign scene, Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi has met Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman in Kingdom Red Sea's city of Jeddah as Cairo tries to navigate through an acute financial crisis. The two leaders met this morning to discuss joint collaboration and regional development. The Saudi and Egyptian official, including Saudi National Security Advisor Massad bin Mohammed Al Bain and Egypt Intelligence Chief Abbas Kamel, attended the meeting. Saudi Arabia has been providing substantial financial support to keep the Egyptian economy afloat and has repeatedly come to Cairo's aid since El-Sisi took power after leading the overthrow of democratically elected President Mohamed Morsi this year. Still on the foreign scene, the British Passport Office workers have begun a 5-week strike in the increasingly bitter civil service dispute over jobs, pay, pension and conditions. The General Secretary, Mark Sokweto, said more than 1,000 members of the Public and Commercial Service Union at 8 sites walked out in an escalating of the long-running rule. According to Soweto, picket line will be mounted outside the offices in Glasgow, Durham, Liverpool, Southport, Peterborough, London, Belfast and Newport in Wales. Sokweto had written to the government calling for urgent talks in a bid to resolve the dispute. He had accused Minister of treating its own employee differently to others in the public sector after negotiations were held with union representing health workers and teachers. And that ends the media news on OSBC TV. It was edited by Adibari Jimakide. Join us at 3 for the State News. Good afternoon.